Hello. Okay, we're doing it now. We're here together. My friends, I'm going to change the name of this channel to Never Not Nervous. Hello. How are you doing? I've prepped this in case we need it. Oh man, I just realized I'm not going to be able to have music today because, well, let me redo that. Oh man, I just realized I'm not going to be able to have music today because I got the second camera. Not an actual second camera, I took my cell phone and I have it up on a tripod. Hell. Try to give it some visual variation. All right, before we jump into the painting, I'm going to discuss a little bit about where I'm at. It's a mostly completed painting, but it's a little bit flat. So my intent is to go in and fix that, and we'll discuss what I'm doing either as I'm doing it or afterwards. So see, what's interesting about adding the depth right here is that the hair is clearly like a 3D mass, right? So the highlights aren't exactly going to just be in the direction of the highlights, they're going to be along the ridges of the hair itself. So that's how I'm thinking about adding this stuff right now. I think that should be mostly okay. We are going to have to go in and add some low lights of a different color. Maybe a dark purple would be good there. That's what I'm thinking, at least. Gotta add some more depth to the face, which is what I've been so nervous about. It's just, you know, you put so much time into something that you get right towards the very end stages where like you'll be doing the things that really will elevate it. But at least me personally, I get scared to do that shit because it's like, oh man, I had to tear this entire structure down 3 or 4 separate times over 20 plus hours just to get to where I am now. I really don't want to mess it up, but then I gotta think to myself, listen, the whole point of painting, at least for me right now, is learning. And if I do fuck it up, I'll learn where that line is where I fucked it up so I can do it less next time. I'm going gloves mode. Okay. It's funny how we talked last week about how purple and gold is a difficult color combination for me, but I just keep repeating it. I think it's because I want to figure out how to pull it off. You know? And also, for me, it is just genuinely a very emotionally colored, or emotionally charged color combination. Now, it feels like there might need to be a third color in that hair to make it maybe a mid-tone. But I don't know what that would be because I don't want it to be more purple. Just like I'm getting real purpled out on this. And we already got the light, we got the dark. Maybe like a brown, neutral color. Maybe like a raw sienna. Try that. Oh no. The amount of raw sienna I have is like none. That's gonna change how I approach this face for certain. Maybe we can take some burnt sienna. Oh no. The burnt sienna is almost completely dried up. We have to use our fingers on this. The burnt sienna is actually quite nice because it's a little reddish. Alright, so the face is a little bit destroyed, but brought back into more of a value range that I like. I don't even know if value range is the right word. I'm just throwing languages out there because I know what I'm feeling about it, but I don't know how to describe it. But I think that's how you describe it. And we'll rebuild a little bit of that structure back into the face. Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, we're gonna need to let this, let some of this paint dry a little bit so I can come back in with the ink. So, let's jump into some pieces. Remember this? I think it's from a video or two ago where I was like, hey, this is a painting that I did. And then I was like, oh, I don't like this painting. And then I threw it on the ground. Yeah, this one, it has like a super interesting texture to it. Woo! All right, we've gotten to the part of the video where I am going to talk to you guys about the week that has just occurred. Wednesday through about, we'll say Saturday because it was still kind of that mode. So Wednesday through Saturday, I spent, it's hard to really say much about those days, if I'm being completely honest, because, well, I don't remember anything. I remember colors. I remember the different stages of the paintings. I remember despair and frustration. I remember listening to Bolero Ravel on repeat for hours on end. But that's really all I remember. It's very few and far between. I talked to my wife about it last night. I was like, I don't even know how much I came inside. And she was like, not a lot. So yeah, it was just like Wednesday. I remember waking up and just being like, man, today I need to paint. Like really need to paint, really need to dive in, just fully immerse myself. So I woke up, I showered, I got ready really early on in the morning, and then I just started painting, and then the rest is kind of a blur for like 4 days. It was just a really frustrating time period because I would paint and I would kind of push a little bit further and find some things, find some sort of groove that I'm in, maybe even get like a decent looking image at one point. And then I would sort of like keep working through it and then ruin it completely. And then at that point, I would have no choice but to just basically wipe all of the paint down to a single color and then just restart again the next day. The thing is, I had somewhat of another realization in my painting, which is just that what if vision is barely necessary? Like what if you can, now I'm not saying anything about quality here. You can determine the quality. This is, I'm purely speaking from a process standpoint. But my point is that what if I can just not try to find an image with my brain, like through seeing on the canvas, but rather just throw something down and then respond and then keep responding and layering and scraping and destroying and building back and doing all of these things all until we reach some final conclusion. And so I was really trying to make that work. It just kept coming out horribly. And then I would wipe it down and restart again. I haven't given up on the concept, but it needs more refinement. I think it's a good, place to work from, to work towards maybe. That's sort of the principle that I've been working on this week. As well as like trying to, because here's the thing, there's a very strong truth that a lot of times the more you work on something, the more it dies. But there is also a truth of not everything has to be like 7 brushstrokes, you know? Not everything has to be super minimalist. Not everything has to be done in a day. Some things genuinely do take time. One of my best pieces, in my opinion, is the one that we worked on like all summer. So there are certain times, but I think the big difference is when the work genuinely calls for that. Not just it doesn't live up to your ego of what you wanted to accomplish with this piece. And so you're going to push it harder to try to make it better. Let's see what else. This week, really, this past week is, for me, at least emotionally, just been a lot of, I guess, like shock and surprise that all of a sudden the channel grew as much as it did, that made me super stoked. I mean, from my video, or from my perspective, we're doing this process every week. This is how it's been. This is how it's gonna be. I mean, of course, you know, there's gonna be evolutions and things like that, but you know what I mean. So, welcome. It's like confused Michael Scott handshake. That is very much the perfect way to say what I was trying to say. It's just that meme. Paint is really quite dry. Woo. I don't know how long. Yo, what in tarnation? I have no idea how long the microphone has not been on me. I hope that it had just fallen. I can't seem to find the base. Oh, there it is. So it probably fell off at least while we were sitting. My sweater is too thick. I stole this sweater from my dad like 10 years ago. I'm extremely pleased by the structure of this jacket. Whoa. Okay. Those are the types of noises that you make when you forget that you're recording. Wow. That face got a lot more interesting, and now I think I need to let it dry so I can see the final dried texture and color of it, because it changes a little bit when it dries, and then I can make a little bit more of a decision on what I want to do with the rest of that face. But we're getting close to done, if not done. Trying to maintain continuity without destroying the highlights and the midtones that I added. Yeah, this is actually looking quite nice. I'm liking this a lot. Wow. My voice is going to do this for the rest of the video. No, but we're going to need to adjust sort of the gradient of the color. It shouldn't be so pink back here, but we're getting much closer to a dialed in version of this painting. Dude, so if you're extremely perceptive, you may have noticed that I'm wearing different glasses this week. The reason for that being is I was playing around with my son. We were going through my junk drawer, and some of my old pairs of glasses were in there. And I felt like I could see better, even though the space was kind of like a little bit weird feeling, like it always is. If you've ever had prescription glasses and your prescription changes, you know exactly what I mean. The weird depth perception stuff. But I do technically see a little bit better now, which is interesting for me, because I didn't realize how kind of compressed things felt in those previous glasses. Okay, so we're getting near the end of the video. Let's think. We talked about the week. It's been a week of basically just being in a fucking dark hole and painting all the time. Me and my son started a new little tradition where we will watch TV and movies together, which makes me really happy. We were watching Elf last night, and he just parked his little chair right in front of mine, and then we just sit there together and watch it. And it's just, I don't know, it's just very nice calm time that we have together, because a lot of it's, you know, I'm chasing him around, tickling him, and, you know, picking him up and stuff like that. But this is literally just some nice chill time, which is very much appreciated. The album of the week this week, Bolero Ravel, or otherwise known as Bolero, by Maurice Ravel. That, I listened to that on repeat for many hours a day, the entire time I was sort of locked in the studio. So if you want to feel a little bit of the mindset that I was in during that time, just listen to that on repeat for 4 to 5 hours. You'll never regret listening to Bolero Ravel for 4 to 5 hours straight. We got a big snowstorm. Yeah, that's about it. I've been another victim of another overheating incident, so I'm gonna be really quick with you guys. If you made it this far in the video, please consider liking it. It helps me get these videos out to more people greatly with the algorithm and all of those good terms. And consider subscribing, because that helps with this being a very small channel. And without further ado, I very much appreciate you spending your time with me today, and I will see you in 9 days.